Hey guys, this is Art, and if you're the scapegoated survivor of your narcissistic family system, then today this video is going to cover the topic of why do we keep going back? Why do we keep going back, and what can you do about it? So the first thing I want to tell you is, I know that you know your truth. You know what you've been through, right? Your body knows the whole story of you. You've been there, through what you've been through with your narcissistic parent, And yet, it becomes so difficult to do that to put that final boundary down, to really say, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And even if you do, there's relapses, right? Some of us, I know I speak for myself, I went back a couple of times before I finally called it quits for good, and I was able to emotionally detach. And by the way, that doesn't mean that the grief isn't there, but it means that when the grief comes and you allow yourself to experience it, it gradually loses its grip on you, and things get easier and easier as you move along on your healing journey. But why do we go back? Why do we go back? Well, first of all, how you feel is normal, just so you know. Because, guilt is triggered by love. And you are hardwired to love your parents from infancy. This is the law of nature. Because if we don't hold on to our parents as children, if we don't do what we gotta do, to stay in their favor, well, we die, right? This is the law of nature. This natural pull that you feel towards your family of origin, even though they abused you, is actually due to the laws of nature, okay? This is something that is normal for you to feel. So, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not weak. It's really a survival mechanism that is hardwired into us from infancy, But the second thing is, the euphoric recall, the good times, the favors, the love and care that you might have received here and there, not just from your narcissistic parent, but also from the enablers, the people that enable the narcissist, the people who, downplay the abuse. And what happens, the reason why it's so hard for us survivors to leave is because this is your environment. This is the system that you're in. Ever since you were a child, this is the way that things have always been. And the people in that system constantly normalize things that are actually not normal. So you grow up thinking that the way that you live and the way that your family operates is totally normal. And it's not. And in my case, for example, my father witnessed, all the things that my abusive mother would do. And then I would cry, and then he would sit with me, and he would tell me it's normal, that's the way she is, It's just the way it is, it's normal. You have to tiptoe harder, no family is perfect. And the first few tries that I had at going no contact, it was always the enablers that brought me back, It was always them saying things like, oh, you leaving is breaking up the family, I remember even telling the golden child, she did this and she did that to me. And I wasn't believed. It was like, well, I don't know who to believe. It's not, I'm not getting involved. And I was just a teenager at the time. And, that was how my pleas were received, So, the enablers, what they will do, and even the narcissistic parent as well, what they're going to do is that they're going to focus on the good times. They're going to tell you, oh, look at all these gifts we gave you. One thing my father used to do, after she would cause drama, after she would abuse, after she would call me names, after she would hit, he would bring me to the basement and go look, and he'd show me videos of how beautiful things were when I was a baby. Look how she's holding you. Look at the love. You see, your mother loves you. Look at this. Look at how wonderful it is. Okay, you have to understand, you know. There's things that you don't understand about your mother, you know. You have to be patient with her. And he would literally do this. Like, he would literally dumb down my experiences with her. But the thing is that, you know, they think that by showing you the good moments, they think that by leveraging the good things that the narcissist did, the few moments that were good, they think that by, you know, giving you those favors, helping you out, they think, I mean, those things are good. I'm not discounting that those things are bad, but they think that those things cancel out your pain of the abuse that you've been through. They think that the good things that they do erase the trauma that the narcissistic parent has caused you. Or at least this has been my experience, you know. This was, and so even when she would get, you know, physically violent with me, and I still went back, you know why? Because my father would call me, and you know, he would normalize it, and I believed him because I loved him. It's my father, right? I believed him. I you know, no scapegoat wants to lose their family. No scapegoat wants to end up alone. No scapegoat wants to not belong anywhere. We are looking for things to hold on to. You know, we are looking for things to hold on to. And when the enablers, they bring up the good moments, they bring up the good times, that gives us something to hold on to, you know. But that is actually what the trauma bond is all about. That's what the trauma bond is. Because, you know, trauma bond, like a bond, why do you bond? Well, because of the good times, the good moments, the good things that happens. That kind of glues you to a person or to the family, you know. But the good moments are not representative of the relationship as a whole, you know. Because if you have the good times and the enablers, they tell you, they keep dumbing it down, and then you know, and they use guilt and they shame you as well. You know, how could you do this to your mother? How could you leave your family? They will say things to you. And actually, I'm gonna tell you, you know, when I went no contact for the final time, they all left. They all dismissed me, all of them. The golden child gave me the silent treatment, and you know, my father, he continues till this day to send me, you know, those Christmas and birthday toxic gift cards, and he will write, "Your mother and I, you know, we love you." Even though I showed him the papers, I told him, I showed him, you know, that I was diagnosed with panic disorder, anxiety disorder. You know, it's very clear where that came from. You know, he saw the things she would do. He saw he was there. But despite all of that, their pull to deny reality, that pull that they have to keep this facade of normality, you know, it's so strong that they will completely deny you the right to feel your own feelings and to talk about your experiences. They don't want to hear about it. You know, they don't want to hear about it. And the thing is that people don't understand that scapegoats don't want to lose having a family, you know. And it's so hard for us to walk away from that system, because it's not just walking away from one person. You know, when you walk away as a scapegoat, you're walking away from the entire system, you know. Because for them, acknowledging you would mean acknowledging the dysfunction. It means acknowledging that something is wrong with the system. It means that, you know, they can't deny everything that they've been denying to themselves anymore, you know. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. You know, some family members is like toxic positivity galore, right? It's you know, Pollyanna enablers, right? I'll have to make a video about that one because I had a big experience with that. But everything is happy. It's normal. It's the culture. Everybody is good. They didn't mean it. Everything is great. And you're surrounded by people that keep telling you that. And then at the same time, you know, you keep getting hurt. There's these opposing forces that keep, you know, fighting each other, you know. And that's really becomes a huge problem, you know. But what I want to tell you about this situation is that, you know, your communication skills are not the problem. You know, I know as scapegoats, we really try to, you know, I know I did. I went to my dad, I would tell him everything, you know, what she did. I went to the golden child, tell them what's happening when they're not home, how this woman treats me, what she's doing, how she's hurting me. It's not, the communication is not the problem, okay? It's really not. The problem is that they will only address the issues if they want to. They will only address the issues if they choose to. But if they choose not to, I mean, in narcissistic family systems, the case very often is that they choose not to address. They rather deny everything and continue living with that facade that everything is great and wonderful and happy. You know, that's what they choose to do. They want to maintain that image of a happy marriage at any cost. You know, they want to maintain the image that everything is healthy and fine and that they didn't fail their lives and that, you know, everything is good. And look at the pictures. Look at those happy family pictures, right? They don't want to address the real issues. And the thing is that in order for the system to change, there needs to be introspection from each person, from each family member that contributed to the collective denial of what was going on, you know. But if each person in that family system refuses to take a look within themselves and really get real with themselves and go, okay, you know what, I gotta face this issue, they're not going to. And you communicating with them and keep trying to tell them to see what's going on and how you're treated will just piss them off. They'll get angry at you. They'll feel disgust with you. They'll say this again, you know, then that's what they'll do, you know. So remember, your communication skills are not the problem. It's not. So if you already, if they witnessed, you know, if they witnessed the narcissistic parent mistreating you and did nothing, if you showed them, you know, if you already told them, if you talked about it, if you screamed for help, you know, it doesn't matter if you cry or show them papers or show them proof. If they don't want to address the issues, they won't. So your communication skills are not the problem. What you really have to do is, you know, I would advise you to emotionally detach from the system. Do not hold on to the euphoric recall, the good moments, the good times, because that's the glue that's keeping you stuck in that system. That's the glue. That's the stuff that's preventing you from getting better and from healing. Yeah, the good times, there might have been some good times, sure. There might have been, but they are not, but they don't cancel out your pain. They don't cancel out the real deal, what you've been through. You know, what would help would be addressing the issue, accountability, and you know, a real family discussion about the real issues and how the problem is going to be addressed. And how about having the enablers actually protect you or not force you to have a relationship with the narcissist, you know, as a team, right? You can have an independent relationship with other family members without having a relationship with the person who's causing you trauma. It doesn't have to be a team effort. Like, why does it have to be all for one, one for all? Why? You know? They feel like if they can handle it, then you should handle it too for the good of the family. But it doesn't work like that. Number one, it doesn't work like that. And number two, if you're the scapegoat, you're not treated the same as other family members. You are the designated trash can, you know. They will project all their self-hatred onto you. They will project that onto you. And then they will spread rumors, and they will badmouth you. They will play victim, you know, of because of your reactions to the pain that they keep causing you. It's a mess. It's a mess. So what you have to do at this point is really bring your focus towards yourself and your personal development. And this is something that I didn't do, you know, early enough. I mean, I wish I would have done that earlier. But don't believe what they tell you. You know, don't become aware of that negative backwards pull that you feel every time that you say that you want, you know, when you dream of something, when you want to achieve a goal, when you have aspirations, you have, you know, you want to become somebody, you want to do you, right? You want to be who you are, express yourself and be authentic. Do it. Do it. Be yourself. You know, if you have dreams, you will feel a backwards pull, okay? Something within you will say, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I will shame myself further if I try and I fail, right? I'm here to tell you that that negative pull is actually, it's normal. We've been hardwired to have that. It doesn't come from you. It comes from a narcissistic family system. It comes from the messages that you've been hearing over and over and over again by your narcissistic parent, and now it's in your mind. That negative pull that you can't do it, it comes from them, but you don't have to believe it. So seriously, if you want to be a doctor, be a doctor. If you want to be an artist, be an artist. If you want to travel the world, travel the world. You know, find a way to get where you want to get despite the negative pulls that you feel within yourself, and that will push you backwards. And trust me, get familiar with that feeling, because it's going to happen a lot as you try to go forward and as you try to bring yourself to a better place, you know. And when you feel that backwards pull, just tell yourself, oh yeah, that's what Art was talking about in that video, okay? You know, just become aware. We all feel this. I mean, I think most of us scapegoats, all of us scapegoats, have been programmed to feel like we're not worthy, you know, like we should be ashamed of ourselves for being ourselves, like we shouldn't, you know, go ahead and do what fulfills us, you know. We've been programmed not to do that. So pushing against that is gonna be hard. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be, it might even give you a panic attack, seriously, for you to actually do something that you're scared to do that will bring you to a better place. And then once you do it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. But it's okay. It's part of the process. Bring yourself, you know, focus on yourself and your personal development. Focus on doing the things that make you happy. That's really the most important thing that you can do for yourself. You know, get yourself to a safe space and start the hard work of bringing yourself, you know, to that place where you will feel good about yourself, where your needs are fulfilled, where you feel like, okay, this is where I want to be, this is who I want to be. Go towards that. And, you know, if you find yourself alone because you did leave your narcissistic family system and you feel those negative, you know, like you're drawn to go back in the loop, just remember that that's what the trauma bond is. You know, the good times, you know, narcissistic family systems are not, you know, if things were always bad, there would be no trauma bond, basically. If things were always bad, there will be no trauma bond. You know, it'd be easy. Just go. But that's the thing, is that it's family. It's a complicated, there's a lot of interactions going. It's not just one-on-one with a narcissist. There's a lot of people involved in this that are keeping you trapped in the system. So you gotta do you. You gotta really learn to go to shut all of that out and do what you need to do to get yourself to a better place, and don't look back. Okay? Don't look back. And remember that when you set your boundaries, you can't control how people will react to them, and that will give you the bigger story about whether these people have your best interests at heart or not. Okay? So remember, when the euphoric recall kicks in and you start to feel the guilt and the doubt, always repeat, I love myself, I trust myself. I love myself, I trust myself. I love myself, I trust myself. Just make that your mantra. I love myself, I trust myself, okay? Make that your mantra. Have that mantra replace the euphoric recalls and the guilt, because you know your body knows the whole story of you, and that's the most important thing. You got to trust yourself. Trust yourself to do what's right for you. Okay? You owe it to yourself. You do. Take care.